What's up, Alor? What's up, Sarvi? Welcome, welcome. All right. What's up, Bernazide? Bernaxide? Dave, how's it going? I will be right back. Okay. There's a concerning lack of automation-related emojis on Twitch. Indeed. Indeed there is. Hey, Mandy Dax. This is different, Blue Squid. Something's changed. Okay. So... Ooh, where's that from, Dave? You have your own? What? How is that? Huh. I feel like I vaguely remember you saying you used to stream on Twitch, but I had definitely forgotten that. Okay. Yeah, I need to get an inserter emoji. It's actually a really good idea. If someone wants to put a non-copyrighted GIF in my Discord, I can upload it to Twitch. It needs to be a certain pixel. I can't remember if it's 32 by 32 or 64 by 64 or 48 by 48. I think it's one of those three. Yeah, Dave, I will hide the chat before we go live. Or I should say before we start recording, because we are live. There's Twitch live and then there's podcast live. We are just Twitch live right now. So I just need to not forget that. Alor, we will not show that chat, but I will be reading it. Or maybe, I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna do. Still figuring stuff out. Because I think for the most part, yeah, I'm just trying to figure out exactly, because like a lot of people are going to be listening to the podcast where it won't even matter if I'm showing chat or not. So I need to talk in such a way that even if chat's not shown, people listening are still going to understand what I'm talking about. So I basically need to restate the question or restate the statement that I'm responding to or whatever. And so I'm going to be doing that anyway. So showing chat has limited value because mostly it would just help people see that it would help people see the things I'm not responding to. And that would be about the only benefit. Would be like, oh, someone asked this question and Krydex never responded to it. But I mean, people can just, you know, be on Twitch if they want to be a part of the chat process to see all the things other people are saying. So yeah, I think the value is pretty limited because it's only providing some value in the sense of I'm responding to a lot of what's there already. And then, yeah, I don't know. I agree. It's probably more work than it's worth, as you say. So for all of you on Twitch, a couple of the Discord people, I have a channel on Discord that is essentially for, I don't know, we'll call them mods. I need to mod people. Okay, mod Dave. You've needed to be modded for a long time anyway. Alor mod. I need Twitch mods anyway. I don't know why I haven't done this before. Thankfully, I've never really needed them. Let's see. Okay, anyway, the mods have access to a Discord channel, and that's more what I'm going to be paying attention to while I'm actually doing the cast, whereas I'm not going to be paying a ton of attention to the live Twitch chat. I'll still have it up, but I probably won't be watching it super closely. And they're going to cherry pick kind of the most interesting questions or comments for me to actually respond to so that people can basically, you know, chat all they want and it won't distract me, you know, and people can make off-topic comments and it's not going to be like I'm having to follow all of it to find the actual questions and stuff. Yeah, accidentally banning people, going on a power trip, yada, 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 all of that. Yeah, Drees, I think I think for the most part, it's just more common in smaller communities. The bigger you get, the more you need mods, just because you get, you know, as your reach gets larger, you get more bad actors. But I think I'm still small enough that most of the people that hang out are people that actually want to be hanging out. And generally, they are pretty reasonable people. So I do have a great community. I agree. You guys are great. Now you lost your VIP status. Oh no. Well, our mods are, it's a step up, Dave. Hey, there's Salsa. What's up? Salsa. All right, Salsa's modded now. Go team. Mod is just VVIP. Okay, am I ready for this? I feel like it's going to be a little bit of a learning process. Well, Minecraft, I think, now that you mention it, I think the game that I play is also a big part of it. Because Minecraft attracts a lot more younger, less mature types, whereas Factorio, I think, kind of by default is more... So far, being a mod has just made the stream smaller. What? I'm confused. But yeah, I think it's just like Factorio people. I don't know. I don't think it attracts a lot of young kids because it's pretty complicated and it kind of causes. Yeah, I don't know. Causes people to have to think about things that, 8-year-old annoying kids who want to try cursing on the internet, they're just not going to be big into Factorio streamers. So I think that's a big part of it. Okay, so let's hide the Twitch chat. Oh, and the alert box. Shoot. I guess I can delete that just entirely from this, because I'm on a different scene collection for the podcasting, so it won't mess with my normal streaming. Because it's weird, even if you're not showing the alert box, that's like when people follow or sub on Twitch, it still makes the noise, which is really weird, even if you hide it. And there's no way to like hide the noise. At least there might be in a complicated workaround way, but the way I have things set up, if it's loaded in, even if I'm not showing it, it'll still make the noise. Okay, let's see. I think I'm just about ready to get started here. How far are we? 13 minutes? Yeah, I think that's enough time. I wanted to give people a few minutes to show up and such before I roll into the episode. And yeah, I mean, I'm basically gonna hit record and I'm gonna start talking, and I'm not gonna engage with chat a ton. And the mods are gonna be posting stuff in Discord that is, high value, worth replying to when I get a chance. So it'll be a little bit of monologuing at first because I'm going to be talking about the podcast, and then we'll get into some actual like Factorio topics and other maybe some other short topics, and then we'll wrap up the episode depending on how long we go. If it's not long enough, I'll probably ramble and talk with chat a bit about whatever has come up in Twitch chat, and if it's already too long, then I'll just call it at that point. I'm aiming for, honestly, anywhere between 30 and 60 minutes. I don't have a specific goal in mind for timing. I don't think under 30 minutes is good because it's just too short. Even 32 minutes would feel pretty short. I think most podcasts tend to run for 40 plus minutes. So I guess I'd say I'm aiming for 40 plus. So probably between 40 and 60 is the goal. Is there anything else I need to talk about? I don't think so. I don't think so. Normally you aim low and overshoot, exactly. I mean, I've, being a teacher myself in the past, I mean, I guess I'm still a teacher. I'm just not actively teaching in the classroom, but man, you'd make a lesson plan and you'd be like, oh yeah, this part will only take 10 minutes. And then, you're actually doing it in class and you're like 23 minutes later and still not done with it. And you're like, oh my God, well, I have to scrap the second half of my lesson now. Yeah, exactly. That is how it goes. Okay, I am gonna pause the music. I don't think background music is a good thing to have in a podcast. Oh, damn it, I forgot intro music. Farts. I meant to, that was, I did, this is what I get for not having an actual list. I meant to have a list of things I need to get done before podcast morning. And one of them was a little clip of music to play. Like a short 5-second kind of transition into the podcast. I guess I can add it in post. So I'll I'll just have to put that on the list, I guess. I was teaching math. In terms of what math? All of the math. I guess I never taught AP Calc 2. And I never taught. Is there anything else I never taught? I pretty much taught every other math subject, high school level at least. I did AP Stats. I did Algebra 1, Algebra 2, Honors Algebra 1 and 2, Geometry, Honors Geometry, Pre-Calc, Trig, which at some schools are the same thing, at some schools are different things, and Finite as well, which some schools have. There's some other math classes, but those are most of the high school. Do we need to rename it to episode 0? I thought about doing an episode 0. I think I just want to start with episode 1. And I don't know. I think a lot of people, because I'm trying to think towards the future. One thing that really stuck with me was something Marshall Sutcliffe, who is a podcaster and Magic the Gathering content creator, plus he does like, what do they call it? Like coverage for actual events. One thing that he mentioned, he started a watch channel. He does watch restoration. And the channel is called Wristwatch Restoration, I think, or Wristwatch Revival. It's hard to say. Makes me think of the Irish wristwatch thing. Anyway, he was talking about when he started that channel, he, in episode 1, started his sentence. The first thing he said was, "Welcome back." Because he was like, I don't want people to feel like I'm just starting out. I want people to feel like I've already hit my stride and I'm in my stride. And I think in episode 0 encourages people to just skip episode 0. Once I'm in episode 50 and people want to go back and work their way into the podcast, they're going to skip episode 0 because they're like, oh, that's the boring shit. And so call it season 2, exactly. So I think in episode 0 is a little bit underserving and it's aiming a little low. I think my goal is just to fit all of the episode 0 stuff in as short a time as I can while giving it justice. Like, I don't think I should skip introducing myself or introducing the podcast, but I don't want it to take a whole episode. I want to get into the meat and potatoes of what the show is on episode 1. So that's my own theory for why I'm not doing episode 0. It's possible I'm wrong and I would be better off doing it, but that's at least what we're going with. Sink or swim, I guess. I'm not. The other thing about this is I'm very excited about it. I'm excited about this project. I think it's filling a cool niche, but it's not like a, what am I trying to say? It's not like a do or die. If this podcast doesn't, take off, that's okay with me. It's more of a passion project, and I want to see where it could go. I think it could go cool places, but I'm just excited to do it, and I know some of you are excited as well. Episode I, yeah, episode square root -1. All right, here we go. I am going to more or less turn off Twitch chat. I mean, I'm not turning it off technically, but if you guys have comments you want me to respond to, then it will be up to the mods to put it in that Discord channel. And if you have questions, feel free to ask them. Feel free to engage, talk amongst yourselves, yada, yada. I'm just not going to be watching it super closely. And so if you have something you really need me to respond to, then wait until after the podcast, and then I'll be back to engaging with Twitch chat. So that's that. Let me get all my windows correct. Make sure I have my notes. Oh God, responsibility. Honestly, guys, don't worry about it too much. Like I said, it's really not a big deal. I want you mods. Okay, I should say this before I start too, because I should have said this before and I didn't. I want you guys to enjoy the time. Like, you want to hang out, you want to listen to the podcast. I don't want you to feel like you can't just chill and enjoy the podcast because you have to be so busy paying attention to chat and stuff. For the most part, there are only going to be a couple Q&A sessions anyway, and if there's not enough stuff in the Discord channel for me to respond to, then I can look at the Twitch chat too. Like, it's really not the end of the world. So don't, just because you've been modded, don't feel like you can't enjoy yourself. If you don't feel like doing mod things, then don't. Really, you're there to just kind of make sure no one's spewing off racist junk or whatever, or hateful junk. And, if you have the energy and time to throw some stuff in Discord. So, hey, thanks for the sub, Mandy Dax, very much appreciated. Blue Squid, no channel point redemptions during podcast. I mean, if you do, I'll probably just refund them after the podcast is over, or potentially fulfill them if it's something like stretch or hydrate. I'll do that obviously at the end. But for the most of them won't apply. I guess do I still have the tongue twister one in there? Did I ever add that? I think I did. I'll do that one at the end of the podcast too. But I won't be doing stuff in the middle. Yeah, 6 months. Mandy Dax, that's awesome. Thank you so much. Okay. Red leather, yellow leather. I gotta warm up my mouth. What are all the... I don't know. Actors have these lists of things that they go through. Oh, sometimes people disable them. I guess that's a good idea. I don't know how to do that. Can I do that? Quick actions. Manage goals. I mean, I'm sure I can. Oh, you know what I can do that's really easy is toggle follower only chat. I'm at least going to turn that on because that's easy. If you haven't followed me, you don't need to be chatting about the podcast, and that'll prevent some random spam that shouldn't be there. I don't usually like to have that on when I'm gaming streaming, but I think for the podcast that's a good policy. As far as how to turn off requests, I actually don't know how. Reward requests queue. Pop out reward queue. Edit rewards. Nope, don't want to do that. Yes, I need to remember to turn that back off. There's probably a way to do it apart from going into the rewards thing screen entirely as a separate screen and just turning it off. I guess I can do that. Nah, that's fine. People can redeem stuff, whatever. I'll refund it if I don't do it. Okay. I keep saying I'm gonna get started and I keep not doing that. Make sure I'm in the right spot. All right, here we go. Hello, everyone, and welcome to The Factory Must Grow, Episode 1. I'm your host, Krydax, and joining us on the line today is none other than Twitch Chat. That's right, it's your favorite internet friends. In the future, we'll have live guests, including other content creators and hopefully some game designers and other people in the community. But as the first episode, we've got Twitch Chat joining us, and we're going to talk a little bit today about what this podcast is, why it exists, who I am, and then hopefully we'll get to some Factorio Friday facts from the recent weeks and discuss some of the implications of those. Before all that, though, I want to get into our mod spotlight of the week. This is going to be a weekly segment, and it will usually be Factorio mods, but it can include mods from other games in the genre as well. So I think it's a great segment to start off with, and Factorio is home to over 8,000 mods. I looked it up. It's an insane amount. Everything from super basic stuff like inventory size increasing or lamp radius increases, all the way to completely overhauling the game into something that barely resembles Factorio anymore, like Pinedons. But this week, as it's the first mod spotlight, I think I would be remiss if I didn't include probably the most talked about mod when people make lists of their favorite mods to add. When people post on Reddit saying, I want to add mods to my game, what should I add? This is almost always the first one that people name, and it is Squeak Through. Squeak Through by Super Cheese. It is one of the better mods that some people don't like it, but for most of us, it is one of the better mods that's ever been made. It's still on the top downloaded page of all downloads of Factorio mods, and it lets you walk in between buildings. For those that haven't played Factorio or played with this mod, essentially, if you have a row of buildings, you normally wouldn't be able to walk through them. Or if you have a row of pipes, you wouldn't be able to walk through the pipes. You know, imagine like stepping over them or under them. You would just have to go around the whole line of pipes. But Squeak Through lets you walk in between them, lets you walk in between buildings, and it is super nice. It was made over 7 years ago, which is pretty close to the birth of Factorio mods themselves. And it has, 412,000 downloads. It's been around since Factorio version 0.13. And yeah, some purists say they don't like it. They like the challenge, you could say, about keeping your base walkable. To those people, I say phooey, and I will walk through my straight pipes. In all seriousness, though, as with most mods, it is one of those trade-offs. It does mitigate a design challenge. Designing your base to be more easily walkable or walked through, I would say, is a major challenge in certain games like Satisfactory because of the 3D space that you have to navigate. Actually designing your base in such a way that it's easy to travel through is quite important in Satisfactory. I think in Factorio, though, because of the top-down view, a lot of players feel more like it's an RTS, and they don't really want to be hampered by walking from one place to the other. So that's why Squeak Through is so popular, and people just want to be able to walk in between their buildings because they don't want to have to walk around a whole row of assemblers. Makes sense to me, but I get that some people don't like it. So with our first mod spotlight now completed, let's talk about this podcast. The Factory Must Grow. When I first originally thought about doing a podcast, I was a little curious about what the reception would be. But as I looked more into this genre, I realized there are no podcasts. Literally none. I Googled lots of different combinations of words, and I couldn't find a single podcast that had been done in this genre of gaming. And I was sitting here thinking, there's a podcast for everything. Surely there's a podcast for factory and automation gaming, because there's so many. It's such a new, well, not new, but it's such a growing and fast expanding category of gaming, with Satisfactory and Factorio and Dyson Sphere Program, Captain of Industry, all sorts of new mods for Minecraft even, Oxygen Not Included, Factory Town, Autonauts. Those are just to name a few. There's lots more that I've played and even more that I haven't. And I keep seeing new ones pop up on Steam that are clearly, you know, wanting to throw their hat in the ring of the factory/automation genre. So I couldn't really believe that there wasn't a podcast on this topic yet. So I thought, well, let's get one started, because this is a great topic. I know I've wanted to listen to one in my car, either on the drive to work or the grocery store or whatever. So I hope that you feel the same way, and that's why you're here. I know I have a passion for this genre. It's one of my favorite genres. It allows my brain to go into all the places it wants to go. It gives you those dopamine hits when your numbers go up, whatever the numbers are that you're producing. When they go up, it makes you happy. So yeah, I think the need exists for this podcast. I have the passion for it, and I have the desire to do it. And being an established content creator, I also feel like I had a little bit of a platform to get started into the podcasting world. As far as what the content will be in this show, it will revolve, I'd say 80 to 90% around the factory/automation gaming genre. I do want it to include a little bit of, real life talk, because, well, we're all real humans, and I'm a real human that's sitting here and talking about stuff. So, you'll get a little bit of my thoughts on all sorts of random things. And when I have co-hosts, I want them to, when I have guests, I want them to feel like they can talk about what they're branching off into. But more or less, it will stay relatively on topic. And we will go into lots of different games. We'll go into deep dives within those games and the mods within those games. So there's really no shortage of content that we have to explore. And I'm pretty excited to see what kind of space we can unlock in the factory automation gaming genre. As far as who I am, I'm in my 30s. I'm an avid gamer, always have been. I mean, I grew up on Jazz Jackrabbit and Command and Conquer and literally the original Mario game on the Super Nintendo. I mean, I've played a lot of games in my life. And as I got older, I majored in math education. I became a teacher of the high school math level, and taught and tutored in various capacities for about 10 years now. I'm actually still math tutoring as a trade. And I'm also a content creator, which started about 4 years ago. I started a YouTube channel called Krydax as well, and really enjoyed being able to share my love for the game, as well as being able to talk about the game while I play it, because I do feel like there's such a cool aspect of the automation genre that invites discussion. There are certain games where a lot of it is about getting better. Like in Halo, you play and you're at a certain skill level, and really all there is to do is get better at the game. You can't really get different at the game. There's only one way. I shouldn't say that. I'm sorry. There are many ways you need to improve to get better in Halo, but you're not generally discussing things that are opinion based, right? Like some people are just better at aiming and they're going to win more. And some people are better at map positioning and they're going to win more. But when you play a game like Factorio, two players can play completely differently, and neither of them is going to quote unquote win more, because there is no winning. It's a game all about progressing. And what does progress look like to you is such an interesting topic. And how do you like to progress? How quickly do you like to progress? What ways do you like to progress? It's all so personal. And that's why I think the factory automation gaming genre is so cool and such a cool space to talk about things, because there's so much personal aspect to it, and there's not just one right way to do it. Now, if your goal is a certain thing like killing more biters or, speed running to get under a 2-hour run, then yes, there are right ways to do those things, but those are only very specific goals. And what I love about sandbox games like Factorio is there are all kinds of goals that you can set for yourself and all sorts of ways to achieve them. So yeah, Tuplex was actually, back to myself, Tuplex was the one who inspired me to start streaming and recording YouTube content. I really enjoyed his Bob's Angels series. I had been binging it over the summer, and I thought to myself, I can do what he's doing. That looks really fun. I think I can do that. And I like the way that he's doing it. So Tuplex, if you're out there, hats off to you. You inspired another Factorio content creator, and maybe someday we'll be able to have him as a guest on the channel. That would be really awesome. I'm also part of a streaming group called Red Circuit, and Bold Viking was the one who drew me into that. You may know Bold Viking. He's a Factorio content creator as well as other games, but mostly Factorio and Pyanodons specifically within Factorio, which is an extremely hard mod pack. And I don't know how he still has a brain with how many hours he's dumped into Pyanodons. He has a base that melts my eyes when I look at it, and it's very impressive, and I hope one day to accomplish a base that large. But I also hope to have numerous Red Circuit members as guests on the channel, because a lot of them are also into this genre. Many of them have played either Satisfactory or Factorio quite a bit. So I hope those are going to be some guests. I also want to address maybe a little bit of a podcast elephant in the room. I don't have a co-host, and I actually think that's okay. I'm starting the podcast solo. I do believe it could be cool to have a co-host at some point. For now, I believe the search for a co-host wouldn't likely yield exactly the results I'm looking for, and it would delay the podcast from starting until I find the results I'm looking for, because I'm not really looking to settle for a co-host that I don't vibe with, right? We want to have good energy together, and maybe that person will present themselves in due time, and I'm definitely open to that. But for now, we'll fly solo with guests wherever we can. And I would like to get some guests on the podcast. So if you're listening to this and you think you could, I don't know, be a good guest on the podcast, please feel free to contact me and we can talk about what that would look like. And I will also be live streaming this podcast to Twitch. So if you'd like to engage in chatting with either other listeners or posing questions to me while I'm on air, feel free to follow Krydax on Twitch and you can join the discussion. There's also a Krydania Discord where you can post ideas for the podcast or questions that you have. So if you'd like me to talk about certain topics, then please join the Discord, throw it in the ideas and questions channel, and that'll be great. Now, even though I'm visually represented on Twitch, I'm not going to make it ever a channel where you would need to be watching because it is a podcast. I expect that many of you are listening in your car or listening as you do the dishes or what have you. So I want to make sure that whatever happens, I'm always providing the visuals to you so that you don't need to see what's going on. There may be a few times where I pull up pictures or, text boxes of Factorio Friday facts or things like that. But for the most part, you won't need to see what's going on, and I'll explain what's going on to those of you who are listening. Finally, I plan to upload to all of the major podcasting sites that I can figure out how to do so. I haven't necessarily ironed out all the kinks with that yet, but if the Factory Must Grow is not on the site that you'd like it to be on, just let me know and I'll see what I can do. And as far as anything else you want to know about me or the podcast, feel free to ask. Ask in the Discord, ask on Twitch, and I'll answer whatever questions I can. I think that's all I have to say about the intro to the podcast. I'm very excited about The Factory Must Grow, and I'm hoping that it grows, just like The Factory, because there's so much potential in this genre, and I think it's underserved. So I'm excited to talk with you guys. I'm excited to hear what all of you think about the genre and about what topics we can get into. But for now, we're going to dive into some Factorio Friday facts. So for those of you on Twitch, please pose your questions and thoughts as well. I will be responding to some of those live, so please chime in. We're going to be talking about number 398 through 402, which is the last 5 weeks worth of Factorio Friday facts, starting with Fulgora. Now, for those of you that haven't played Factorio, well, I'd be surprised if anyone's listening to this channel that hasn't played Factorio, let's be honest, but you might be. So Factorio is kind of the GOAT of the automation genre, and there is a large expansion coming soon to it. Expansion is almost not a big enough word for what's happening, because it's essentially, it's more than doubling the size of the game. Right now, Factorio has you as an engineer on a planet. There's 5 different ores that you can mine, and there's trees, and there's some enemies that you need to defend against, and you expand your factory, you get new technology, and eventually you launch a rocket, and that's it. And the expansion, called Space Age, is going to add 4 new planets, all of which individually, I'd say, seem about as fleshed out in terms of new mechanics and new resources as the base game itself. So to say that it's more than an expansion is quite fair. And they've been releasing every week new Factorio Friday facts. And those are very exciting things for all of us who play the game, because every week they're just giving us new nuggets of reasons to be excited about the expansion. So that's what we're going to talk about a lot of weeks, is we're going to go over the most recent Friday Factorio facts and discuss that. I think a podcast is a perfect place to discuss these developments, and as well as, any other new game developments or new mod developments in the Factorio world and other automation game worlds. So let's start out with Fulgora. Fulgora is kind of the Mars substitute, as far as I can tell. Obviously it's their own planet. It's not literally Mars, but it's sandy, rocky, red, and it has storms on it, lightning storms in particular. So they shared that the what's the right word for it? The planet is covered in these old ruins. So I'm actually going to pull up a picture for the Twitch people here. And the planet's covered in these old ruins, and it's actually really cool because they're not they're not from the biters, and so it's evidence that there's some other race of aliens or whatever that used to exist on this planet. And We don't really know who they are, what they're about, but they left behind these ruins. And you actually, what was revealed in Factorio Facts 398, what was revealed is that you can mine the ruins. And so the scrap itself is actually like a mining, um, like a patch of iron ore. You can mine scrap. And what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to take that scrap and put it in a recycler to get the base resources like cables and gears and circuits and steel. And I think that's actually a really cool mechanic because those of you that have been following some of the other Factorio Friday facts know that recycling is going to be a core component of the quality mechanic in Space Age. And the quality mechanic is all about upgrading your modules and buildings and things like inserters to a higher level. And you can upgrade them to a higher level, but only with a certain chance of success. And so the recycler allows you to recycle the ones that didn't get to the quality level that you want, which is kind of cool. That's what real factories do, right? You make a bunch of gears, and the ones that aren't up to snuff, you melt them back down and make them into new gears. And so that concept of recycling the stuff that's not good enough fits real factory production pretty well, and I think it's kind of cool. And they're really leaning into that mechanic on Fulgora because they're actually using the scrap as a necessary way to use the recycler. So even though it's not recycling stuff that you've made, it's recycling stuff that the previous inhabitants of the planet made. Another cool mechanic of Fulgora is that they're going to add lightning storms as a primary way to generate power. And it looks like there are these lightning towers that absorb the energy from lightning strikes. And I don't know how many, joules or watts they're going to add to your base and how much you'll need to collect and if there's other ways to make power on Fulgora, but it does seem like these lightning strike collectors are the main way to get power at night because there's not coal on the planet. We do know there's some form of oil that you can get. There's like an oil sand type, almost like in Dune, there's more solid types of rocky areas that you can build on. And then there's like the oil sand oceans that are going to be really difficult to build on. And I don't even think you'll be able to landfill those sections until later game. So you're kind of forced to build on these islands of hard rocky patches. And it really reminds me of the old Dune games. I don't know if any of you played Dune 2000 or Dune 2. I'm trying to remember which one of those I played more, but I just remember it was like Command and Conquer, but you could only build on the rocky areas and you couldn't build on the loose sand. And Fulgora is reminding me of that. You could only build on these rocky patches, so it's kind of like islands, even though there's no water. It does mention that there's infinite heavy oil, but you can't actually crack it with water because there's no surface water. And so you're going to have to get some ice from mining scrap, and then you can melt that down into water. And then you've only got so much water to go around to use in things like oil cracking or other things. I'm also curious if there's going to be any sort of space ice asteroid mining that you can then ship down to the planet. Potentially shipping water around is going to be a challenge in the game. I'm not really sure. So yeah, Twitch chat, let me know what you guys think about Fulgora and what your thoughts are on the planet. There's also an electromagnetic plant, and that's one of the new things in Fulgora. And it is a new way to make circuits. Super cool. They show a GIF on the web page, and it's got these cool things spinning around like a central wire spinner. It's like a spool of wire like threading around a thing in the middle. It kind of looks like a rotor almost. Or what are they called? Stators? I don't remember the difference between rotors and stators, but it's the one with the wire wrapped all around it. But they show the picture, and it's plastic and copper cable and green circuits going into the machine and red circuits coming out. So you might think to yourself, well, that's the same as what an assembler does. It just makes red circuits. But then they mention it's a 4x4 machine with a crafting speed of 2 and a built-in productivity bonus of 50%, which is a lot, and 5 module slots, which is 1 more than an assembler tier 3 gets. So it's way faster, way more productive, and also has more module slots, which can make it even more productive or faster, which makes a huge difference for things like red circuits and blue circuits, which are historically one of the more expensive things you need to make in Factorio. And I think those are really going to help with all the modules you need to make as you're trying to get quality. Like when you're trying to get quality level 5, the legendary quality, we'll see if they actually go with legendary and rare and stuff like that or not. But the legendary quality modules are going to be really difficult to get. I think someone did the math, and you're going to need, oh shoot, I forget the number. If someone in Twitch chat knows, let me know, because I think it's in the thousands of modules you need to get to a legendary. And even if everything is legendary quality, to give you the new quality modules, it still takes an absurd number. But even to get to that point, it takes even longer, because quality modules only have a chance to make higher quality, and you need higher quality modules to have a higher chance at making higher quality. And so it's this funny, like, kind of loop that you start out really low on the totem pole and you slowly work up one rung, and then you need to work up the other rung of having, the next tier of module, which requires more research, maybe going to another planet. It's really cool how they've done this. Anyway, we will be able to make the quality module 3s on Fulgora. That's where they get unlocked. I'm guessing all of the tier 3 modules are unlocked on various planets. My guess would be that speed module 3 is unlocked on one of the planets, and then productivity and efficiency is unlocked on the third planet, because there's kind of 3 middle planets and then a final planet that you can't really go to till you've done the middle 3. It's also possible that they combine speed with efficiency, because those two tend to go together in beacons to keep buildings from costing too much power, if power is an issue. I'm also curious, Twitch chat, what you guys think about the normal versus uncommon versus rare and epic and legendary titles, because it's such an interesting, like, a lot of the Reddit has hated it and some of it hasn't. So yeah, another interesting thing Twitch chat mentioned is there's no water for steam or nuclear on Fulgora, so you're going to have to use other means of production. And because you don't have a ton of space, solar is not going to be easy to just paste everywhere because of those oil sand oceans. And about the me talking about the Dune RTS, it was Emperor Battle for Dune. Thank you for that clarification. There's a new furnace on Volcanus. Yeah, we didn't talk about that. And there's a new circuit maker on Fulgora, as we are talking about. So what's going to be the building we get on the third planet? It's actually a really interesting question. I think an assembler or a chemical plant would make the most sense, because the furnace essentially does many of the same functions, plus it can assemble some of the lower tier materials by itself. So the furnace that we get on Volcanus can make things like gears and copper wires directly from molten metal, so it can cast straight to those. And so it's interesting because it's kind of doing a little bit of what the assembler does, and then all of what the smelter does. And now we get revealed the one on Fulgora is doing pretty much only what an assembler does, but for circuit type, electronic type items. So I guess the question is it going to be something that mostly deals with fluids like a chemical plant, or could it be something that deals with like the higher tier items like low density structure? It could be some sort of combo assembler and chemical plant. So essentially an assembler that has more fluid inputs, and you can potentially select a solid and a fluid recipe. I could see them doing some sort of combo where you can actually have like 2 recipes going at once in the same like mega assembler. But it's bigger and faster and can hold more modules. That could be pretty cool. Yeah, time will tell. I'm trying to remember what the third planet is called. I want to say people have discovered the name of it, and it slipped my mind. Anyway, can't remember that. So yeah, Fulgora, gonna be pretty dope. Is there anything else Twitch has to say about Fulgora? Someone said they thought efficiency would be on Fulgora. Yeah, that is kind of interesting. You'd think efficiency would be on Fulgora because it's all about electricity, right? And making electricity from lightning and things like that. It's possible that it is, and they just haven't said it yet. So you never know. Oh, and on the topic of rarity or quality rarity, I don't know what we even call it. The different quality tiers. And what were the 5 again? I just said them. So it goes normal, uncommon, rare, epic, and legendary. Which, as many of you know, that is essentially World of Warcraft or Diablo or any RPG game in the last 10 years pretty much follows that progression. Heck, I don't know who originated it. Maybe it was D&D even. I'm not sure. But those have been around for a long time. And most games use them. So on that axis, it makes a lot of sense that they would use those. Because, well, that everybody understands. And they even colored it the same way. Uncommons are green, rares are blue, epics are purple, legendaries are orange. I'm pretty sure that was World of Warcraft coloring for a long time. Diablo rares were yellow, magics were blue, sets were green. So Diablo had a little bit of a different coloring scheme, but World of Warcraft followed the green, blue, purple, and then orange. And then, of course, they added more colors like yellow and red and other things later. But those basic tiers of uncommon, rare, epic, legendary, that really makes me think of World of Warcraft. And so, yeah, their argument for that is people understand it. They don't need to do extra research. They don't need to learn a new thing. They don't need to learn a new naming scheme to know that the orange one is the best one and it's legendary and legendary is the best one. A lot of suggestions on the Reddit have been for things like, we could have, mastercraft and quality and or not quality. Quality is the mechanic, but they say things like better or high quality or poor. And I think one thing I need to note is that having the first tier be any sort of negative connotation would be bad. You want the first tier to be the normal thing. And I understand that people have an argument for, like, in real life, your construction might start out not being of the best quality, and that makes some amount of lore sense, but I don't think it feels good to players to start out the game making stuff that's bad quality, right? That just doesn't feel good. So I don't think that's good game design. So starting at normal makes a lot of sense. In fact, not even having the word normal there, unless you're defining what quality it is, I think makes sense. So really you just have iron gear, right? That's the base level. But then going into uncommon, it's just, what does uncommon even mean? And in Twitch right now, some people are saying they like the naming scheme. Some people are saying it's worth following the conventions. If it is similar to an MMO, legendaries should be end game because legendaries should be really hard to get. I do think that is hard in Factorio because eventually you're going to have all legendaries. And is that, I mean, it's going to take a lot of work to get there, but you can get there. Yeah, I don't think you're going to be able to get legendaries before Fulgora, if I'm reading what they're saying correctly. They say quality modules. Here's what they say. Quality modules, adding more quality to new quality modules. So around and around we go in a wonderful quality carousel that ends with some very powerful machines. So I'm not sure when you unlock legendary itself. I think it's actually from a research that you unlock legendaries. So my thoughts on it, I actually came up with a proposal for what they could rename the tiers that I do think is pretty good because it doesn't include confusion. Most of the I can't talk today. Most of the suggestions that people have had online that I've seen, there's a little bit of confusion on which tier is the best, right? Because if you're saying like, oh, that's good and that's great. I've seen some that include the word good, some that include great. And when you're looking in from the side and you just see that it's a great quality module, you don't really know where that fits in the hierarchy. Great is better than good if you saw them next to each other, but you shouldn't have to see them next to each other to know where they fit in the hierarchy. Legendary, you see that and you're like, oh, that's at the top. You see rare and you know that that's definitely pretty high up there. It's not just the second tier. Like you can guesstimate that rare is in the middle without having to know even what the other tiers are called. And that's one of the beauties of the MMO WoW style version. RimWorld, someone's saying in Twitch chat how RimWorld does it, and I want to say that's pretty similar to Dwarf Fortress, if I'm remembering correctly. I could be off on that. But RimWorld has awful, poor, normal, good, excellent, masterwork in Legendary. And so if we were to remove the first two, and then normal, like we said, is just the base level, so you don't really have it on there. So it would start as just an iron gear, then you'd have a good iron gear, an excellent iron gear, masterwork, iron gear, and legendary. I don't love that because masterwork and legendary are confusing. That comes back to the thing I said. To someone that isn't familiar with the game's nomenclature, I'm not actually sure which is better. If I just see masterwork, that kind of sounds like the best thing I could ever get. It's masterwork. Like, it's master. You know, and so masterwork and legendary feel a little bit interchangeable. So I don't know if that's great. Good and excellent feel like a pretty good distinction. You know, it's pretty clear that excellent is better than good. It's pretty clear that excellent is probably 2 steps up from normal rather than just 1 step up. I need to find, I'm trying to remember, it's been too long since I've actually talked about this. I don't remember what my own suggestions were, which is funny. I know I put them in my Discord somewhere. I wonder if I can find them real quick. What was my suggestion? Let's see if I can find it. So I had said, where was my suggestion? I said perfect is nice because it implies perfection and it's very clearly the best. So yeah, I do think perfect instead of legendary is a decent change because it's more clear that that's the best one. Let's see if I can find it. Oh yeah, one other thing that was pointed out on Reddit that I think was interesting is that common and uncommon are measures of rarity, and epic and legendary are measures of quality. And I do think that's actually some inconsistency. It's like, oh, uncommon, rare, and then you'd think it'd go hyper rare or, you know, extremely rare, but it goes epic. And so it's defining a different aspect of the item. A lot of people don't even really consider that anymore because, again, it's a World of Warcraft thing. Everybody knows what these words mean, so they're not really like thinking about it. So it looks like my suggestion was standard, good, superb, masterwork, and perfect. So that was one idea. And standard would be the normal, you know, there's no, you're not measuring, or you're not putting that, it's not called a standard iron gear, it's just called an iron gear. I like the word standard better than normal because it makes you think more factory-esque. Like it's a standard iron gear, you know, it's our bog standard iron gear that we make in this factory rather than a normal gear. That doesn't feel like a very factory production line word. Good feels pretty basic. It's like, oh, that's a good iron gear. Like that's the one that we make for the people who want to pay more money, you know. And then a superb iron gear, masterwork is clearly better than superb. You know, it's masterwork. And then again, perfect fits with masterwork pretty well because perfect is obviously the best. Perfect is a pretty clear word in English that is 100%. There's nothing better than perfect. So that's kind of some basic thoughts on what I had. Masterwork does kind of go against automated mass production. That's a good point because masterwork kind of implies a specific, like almost like a handcrafted, artisanal, you know, feel to it, where it's like the factory's just pumping out these things, you know, 500 a minute or whatever. So yeah, it's hard to get this right. Honestly, they're in a tough space. I don't really know, honestly, if they should change it or not. I'm a little bit undecided myself. I don't love epic and legendary. I'm not gonna lie. I don't mind uncommon and rare. Epic and legendary just feel weird. Legendary steel chest? Like, are you kidding me? That doesn't sound right. It sounds very wrong to me. Legendary also feels like something you have to struggle to find. In most RPGs, you cannot craft legendary items. You can only find them. You have to go on raids or kill this hard boss to find legendary gear. Sometimes you find legendary blueprints to craft your own legendaries or whatever, but even those are hard to find. So legendary feels like this thing you have to go on a quest to get. The quest for the legendary grail, you know what I mean? And so I think to some level, legendary feels very out of place. Epic fits a little bit better. I still think it feels out of place. The other two are fine. Uncommon and rare, I don't have a core issue with those. It is a measure of, rarity rather than quality, and I think it could be cool to have all four words the same. They could also just come up with 4 new words and make up their own system, and then it is kind of part of the game is just to learn what they're called. And I don't necessarily think that would be bad either, but Factorio is pretty good at trying to be approachable to new players, so I can see why they're sticking with this time-tested and time-proven approach. It'll probably take more time to get legendary gear in Factorio than in Diablo, says Twitch. I agree with that, for sure. Someone on Twitch is saying they did mention they're going to rename them. Oh, that is news to me. I'd love to see the sauce for that because I hadn't heard that yet. That's actually really cool. Anyway, I am going to move on from Fulgora and talk about a couple of the more recent Factorio Friday facts now. And I know that we've actually been talking about quality instead of Fulgora for the last 10 minutes because quality is such an interesting mechanic and very controversial on what it's named as well, clearly. So Factorio Friday Facts 400 was about search and pins. What's really cool is that searching for buildings in Factorio is difficult right now. There's no way to find the section of your factory that's making iron gears except hunting around on the map and hoping you see the little iron gear icon. Right now you can show on the map the icon of what assemblers are making, but you can't actually like type the word iron gear anywhere and find the buildings. There is a mod for that, Factory Search. Highly recommend it. Pretty cool. But without a mod, right now there's no way to do it. And they're finally adding that into the base Factorio game. You can search for the word iron gear and it'll show you all your iron gear makers. It's wonderful. You can also hit a pin button and it will essentially pin that location to your map and it'll show a little arrow kind of as you're walking. So you can basically search iron gears, go into map mode, type in iron gear. It'll find them as you're typing, and then you hit the pin button, close the map, and now you can just walk towards the arrow. So it's a super streamlined way to get to the section of your factory you're trying to get to, especially when you have a big factory. It's pretty obvious why they've added a lot of these quality of life features is that we're going to need them, right? In the vanilla Factorio, unless you're building a mega base, it's not really hard to remember where your iron gears are. There's only a few dozen items in the vanilla game as is. In a modded game, that's very different. But in the base vanilla game, search wasn't something that was super necessary. And they also added map tags a long time ago. So you can put map tags where you need them and stuff. But now you've got 5 different planets, which means 5 different surfaces to worry about. You've also got all of your space platforms and however many those are to worry about. And so being able to search for something is pretty important at that point. Because you might not remember, wait, am I even making gears on this planet or am I making gears on a different planet? So you might even not be looking at the right planet when you're trying to find your iron gear factory. So it's pretty handy to have a search function. And I think I think it was pretty necessary. One other thing that Twitch is mentioning is another important thing that hopefully we can search for. I don't think they mentioned it is where do we use this item? So not only searching for iron gears, but searching for iron gears as an ingredient. Where am I using these iron gears? I think that's actually pretty helpful too, and I'm hoping that can be a functionality that the search function has. Because otherwise, you're only getting half the equation, right? Items are both produced and used. Those are the only two. I guess you can store them as kind of a third. So really, like, where is it stored, where is it used, and where is it made are the three questions you might have about an item. The third is, where is the train? Yeah, actually, it's interesting. Like, if you have a train that only carries iron, it's a little tricky though, because if the train is carrying something other than iron, how would you? Is it an iron train? Is it something else? So I'm not sure if searching trains will be a part of that functionality or not. I guess we'll find out. The next Factorial Friday Facts was 401, which is all about improved Nauvis. God, I still haven't decided how I say the name of this planet. I really wish they had an official pronunciation guide, like on their website or something, because to this day, I'm still not sure how you're supposed to say. Is it Nauvis? Is it Navi? Is it novice? Is how some people say it, because like, oh, look, we're a novice engineer. Ha ha ha. It's funny. I'm going to go with Nauvis, and I'm going to go with that. We'll see how many people, send me angry DMs and letters. But now this terrain has not been touched for a long time. And one of the main improvements that Arendelle made is, well, first of all, he added a few things back in that apparently weren't ever spawning, because the code that causes them to spawn was like never returning true, essentially. It's more complicated than that, of course, but that was the essence of what was happening. And so there was some code that essentially said, hey, this thing, spawn it, but then the time where it got spawned never showed up. So we've got a few new trees and decoratives and stuff, but essentially what he really wanted to do was make cliffs and water not be as terrible, because right now water is kind of random. There's lakes all over the place. There's not really too much of a rhyme or reason. There's no rivers. There's no discernible kind of pathway along the water. And the same is true with cliffs. Previously, cliffs were tied to elevation, which meant that cliffs were often spawned in circles kind of around the water, which made cliffs pretty useless as a defensive position, since water is already defending from that direction, so the cliffs aren't helping. And it also made traveling along cliffs kind of pointless, because you have to travel along the water anyway. So often cliffs and water were blocking the same paths. And so they were both not very useful and not very helpful, or not very hindering at the same time. So what Arendelle has tried to do is rewrite all of it so that there are kind of these natural pathways through the game world. And the result, if you scroll down, it's a pretty long page because there's a lot of pictures, which is really cool. But the result is really cool because it turns the cliffs into canyons in a lot of places. So rather than having these random cliff walls that are stopping your progress, you have these canyons that you can travel through. And then he combined that with the tree spawning algorithm. So trees aren't just randomly spawning a forest in the middle of that canyon that you want to drive through. And there are also some rivers, and they do the same thing. So it's really cool because now you're going to be able to hop in your car and you'll actually be able to drive somewhere, not necessarily in a straight line, but you're not going to randomly hit, okay, well, oh God, I hit a cliff, so now I need to drive around the cliff, but oh no, there's a forest in the way of that, and then, oh, there's water up here, so I got to go around the other way. Now you're going to be able to actually travel fairly unobstructed in the general direction you're going to want to go. And I think the terrain also looks a lot more realistic. Having these canyons is really cool. It's surprising how good it looks. It almost makes me want to play with cliffs. And any of you who have watched my Factorial gaming know that I generally hate cliffs, but these look so good, I might just have to play with them. We'll find out. One other thing is biters. I'm not totally sure how biters are going to factor into this, but they'll probably spawn in sections that you want to drive through. So I assume biters are going to spawn in the way of your travels, and you'll have to kill them to get through. But yeah, canyons are going to be really good for defense, as someone on Twitch is saying, and I agree. You'll be able to put walls there and lasers there, and it actually makes a choke point that's useful, rather than previous cliffs, which often you had to defend on both sides of them anyway, so that they weren't helping to defend you along the line that your walls would be, which is really what you want. So pretty excited about that. Again, it's something I didn't even think of wanting. The Factorio devs are amazing. They keep adding things that I didn't even know I wanted. But I read these Friday facts and I'm like, oh my gosh, yes, please sign me up. I need that. How have I lived without this? And it feels like they've been doing this every week now for, I don't know, how many dozens of weeks they've been spoiling things for the expansion. So this game is truly next level. I cannot even begin to explain how amazing the Factorio devs are. They have set the bar for any devs who want to do a knock it out of the park job with their game. I think Woob has set the bar with Factorio. I don't know of any other games that have this level of optimization, focus on player experience and game design, as well as actually succeeding with the things they're attempting and doing it well, rather than saying, oh, we want to balance for player design, and then they do a crappy job and the game's not fun. I think Woob has knocked it out of the park. I will say Satisfactory has done an amazing job too, and they have one leg up on Woob for sure, which is the community managers and their YouTube presence. Not to say that you have to do this. Obviously, like, there are different approaches to game development. Woob has done amazing. I don't think they need community factory manager. I don't think they need a community manager to be successful. Obviously, they haven't. However, Satisfactory has had an awesome presence in the community, super positive, super welcoming, and they've done a great job of communicating through their video logs. And I do think Satisfactory has taken a lot of pages out of the Woob handbook, and they're doing a really good job with that game. And on that note, 1.0 for Satisfactory is going to release later this year, and I'm very hyped about that. I'm sure we will talk a lot about Satisfactory after that comes out. Because yeah, that game is done really well, and not everybody loves it because of the 3D element, and sometimes because of the exploration element that's semi-required to get the alternative recipes. Good news for those of you that haven't loved that, they have added in Satisfactory an option to turn off the requirement to explore for hard drives. So if you want all the alternative recipes, you can just research them with that new setting. I don't know if that's going to be added or has already been added, but I know it exists. Anything? Okay. So moving on to the final Factorio Friday facts I want to talk about is 402, which was released on March 15th, just a few days ago. And that is Radar Transmission Network. Oh yeah, you know it. Another mod bites the dust. These Factorio Friday facts just keep revealing things the base game is going to have that previously only mods could do. And now it is transmitting wire signals through the circuit network, or through radars. And so you can plug your red wire into a radar, and it essentially will turn all other radars into connected red wire, like light poles, basically. And so you can create logic on one side of the map that then turns off an inserter on the other side of the map without having to have a connected, power pole train all the way across those 2 kilometers. Super handy. I actually really, really like that. Without that, I don't know how you would do logic very easily. Honestly, I don't really know how it's not in the game already, because there are a lot of times where I want to do logic on one side of the map that affects something on the other side of the map, especially with trains. And so trains are going to be a primary use case for this, because you're going to want to know how much iron do I have in my iron mining train stop. And then you want to maybe disable some other mining patch until you've run out on the first one, or enable it, or any combination of things. Now, they do note there's only one channel. So if you have a red wire attached to a radar, that red wire applies everywhere. Every radar, at least on the map, is going to have the same red channel. What they haven't talked about is how to connect different surfaces. I'm sure there will be a way, but it's not this way, because they specifically say there's a lot of ways to do it. We wanted to keep it simple, so we decided that there's just a single radar channel for each surface, still separated between red and green. So what that means is your red channel on Fulgora will be separate from your red channel on Nauvis. What they don't explain is how do you get one of those red channels to the other planet. I'm sure there will be a way to do it. It's probably a different building. Finally, they do mention red and green specifically. They say nothing about blue wire. However, I'm still secretly hoping that they add blue wire because, if there's anything about this mod, it's that we're going to have more opportunities to use combinators because of all the new logic and recycling and quality and all sorts of new things, the new train network stuff, all kinds of updates to Factorio. And I'm hoping we have blue wire because 2 channels has not quite been enough. Sometimes red and green wire eventually can run out. It is surprising, though. It's pretty rare that red and green cause me to run into limitations. Sometimes I just want a blue wire for visual aid, even if I didn't technically need blue wire. So for my part, I would actually like a third color of wire just so that I can more visually discriminate between what's hooked up to what in my circuit builds. I also think because they are removing wires from being a crafted item, there's a higher chance they add blue wire, because they might have not wanted to add it because it's like, well, it's just another item in the game. There's a lot of downsides. And now that's not there because one of the other things they spoiled is that wires are not actually items in your inventory. You can connect, 2 different combinators or an inserter to a belt and all that sort of thing with a red wire without having to actually have a crafted red wire in your inventory. So that's pretty cool. They also added this cool little functionality. It's very specific, but when you cut and paste combinators and move them, the wires that were previously hooked up stay hooked up to the same places, which is pretty cool. Right now I use the Picker Dollies mod, which allows you to slide buildings around on the floor or on the ground, whatever you want to call it. And that also maintains wire connections, but the new vanilla functionality is that you'll be able to cut and paste combinators around and all their connections will stay the same. So you can kind of, the reason this is nice is you can build your combinator setup pretty spread out, where everything is more clear where it's hooked up and what it's hooked up to. And then once you've figured out all the logic and it's correct, you can cut and paste it all to be this dense little cube of wires and combinators that, you basically have to write down what it does because you'll never find out again. It's like trying to look at the code that you wrote last year. Who knows what it does? One other random thing that they announced in this Factorio Friday Facts, which is actually really funny. It's been a bug that's been in the game for, I don't know, years. I mean, since I can remember. Since Bob's Mods has existed, at least, because what the bug is if you craft more than one recipe every tick. And so if you don't know, the game runs 60 ticks per second, and if you were to have a crafting speed of, let's say, 60, or let's say 120, and you're crafting, let's just say something basic, like a iron gear out of an iron plate. If you're doing 100 recipes per second, well, the building would actually be limited to only 60 recipes per second. It cannot produce more than 1 per second. So it would actually end up just making 60 gears per second, if you could unload all of them, that is. But if you had productivity in that building, and let's just for argument's sake say you had some boosted productivity modules and you had 100% productivity. Well, normally, if it was running at 60 speed, then you would get 60 gears from the regular crafting and exactly 60 gears from the productivity. And if you were to go to 120 times speed, you would get 120 gears and 120 from the productivity. But the problem is, the limit was 1 actual recipe per tick. So it would only create 60 recipes worth of gears, which is 60. But the productivity is unlimited. And somehow the productivity wasn't limited to 1 per tick. And so what would happen is you would end up getting 120 bonus gears and only 60 of the normal, meaning you got 180 gears for the price of 60. And that's actually triple productivity. So it was this weird bug that only showed up with super modded buildings, where if they went really, really, really fast, the productivity would actually kind of give you more than you were supposed to get, is the essence. And now they fixed it so that it actually produces the right amount. It can produce more than 1 per tick. You do need some crazy stack inserters. And I'm talking about the new stack inserters that actually stack items on belts, which is so cool. You need stack inserters to get that number of items out of a building, but they have a little GIF that they show, which is pretty cool. And it talks about a legendary foundry crafting at plus 2,500% speed. So, oh yeah, and someone on Twitch mentions there's also infinite productivity on miners, and there's the new big miners, which mine even faster, plus new quality, which can make things faster, plus quality speed modules, which can make things faster. So there's a lot of new axes on which things can get faster. So they had to handle this in the base game. So they spent like 7 years telling everyone to go pound sand down a hole, like, if you're going to have crazy crafting speeds, whatever, you can deal with the bug. And now they're like, okay, fine, we have to fix it, I guess, because now in our base game, we're dealing with it. So I think that's actually kind of funny. They did admit, what did they, I think they phrased it as eating crow. Yeah. Then Space Age happened with its legendary speed modules, and all of a sudden it's a base game problem, and it was time for me to eat crow and find a solution. So I'm glad that they kind of owned up to to not wanting to fix that for a long time. But yeah, those are the past 5 Factorio Friday facts, at least the main points, and you can expect us to keep caught up with these in the coming podcasts. And I think that's about all I've got for episode 1 of The Factory Must Grow. It's been a great time getting to know you guys, and I hope to see you in future weeks. And with that, we will all remember the factory must grow. All right. There it is. Podcast. Let me... Not much of a wind down. Yeah, that was a little abrupt. I might re-record that last bit for the audio version in post. I'll probably... The actual audio version probably will be a few days out, because I think I might listen to the entire thing, as painful as that is, and make some notes for my future self. That is the way to improve in life, even though it's not fun to listen to yourself talk for an hour. And what am I trying to do? Turn off the window. Nope. There we go. Yeah, I might re-record a couple small things if there's something that's really bad or cringy or just not the quality I want. For the most part, what you heard is what will be uploaded to the actual podcast itself. And in the next few days, I also have to figure out how to actually upload a podcast to the internet and all that. Most people say Anchor FM is really good and it's free, so I'll probably start with that unless any of you know something I don't know and have other recommendations. I'd be happy to hear them if you do. But yeah. Sweet. And I think next week I might try to get a guest. We'll see if I can get any guests on the podcast. If not, that's fine. Volume fluctuated a bit. Interesting. Could you tell if it was me physically moving closer and farther away from the mic, or if it felt like I was staying in one place and the volume was changing? Because if there's some audio weirdnesses, I definitely want to iron that out. Because you notice audio stuff way more in podcasts than in like Twitch streaming. Because all you're doing is listening. So when the audio is not right, it is really frustrating. You think it was while I wasn't even moving? Okay. I will keep an ear out for that when I'm listening through it for sure. Oh, thanks, Alor. Yeah, I was trying to not leave dead air. That was one of my notes to myself before I started this, was like, no dead air. There's not really a reason for anything to be dead, and I had already kind of considered, like, if there is any sections where I just totally draw a blank, I'll probably just cut out the dead air in editing, because yeah, you don't want dead air in a podcast. Rayclaw, do I want to talk about the leaks? What do you mean by leaks? I don't actually know quite what you're saying. Have there been details about Space Age that have been leaked unofficially? Oh, thank you, Alor. I can also turn back on that. Not leaks, but secrets. Oh, you mean like the little, maybe more like Easter eggs is probably what I would call those. Like little things that you can find in the pictures or whatever that technically they didn't talk about, but were revealed. Yeah, those are totally fine to talk about. Definitely fine. For example, I even mentioned that we kind of know the name of the third planet, and that's only because the pixelation that they did on the planet names was not quite pixelated enough, and someone reverse engineered it with all possible strings of text, and like only one string of text matched the pixelated one when they pixelated it, and so it was kind of like, oh, that's almost certainly what the third planet's called. And I can't remember what the third planet is, but it's like they kind of tried to censor it out, but they failed. In the last one, there's an exoskeleton visible behind the craft window. Ooh, let's check that out. Let me pull this back up. Behind the craft window. What? Back here? I don't think this is what they're talking about. What are we talking about? This one's just the... It's on the right-hand side of the craft window. There's an exosuit. Oh my god, am I just so blind? What is going on here? I assume we're talking about this window right here. Where am I even looking? Like, I feel like I'm taking crazy pills. Dave sees it. Where? What am I looking at? It's on the corner of the window, hiding the player. So, like, here? Okay, I don't see anything there. Here, that's just a beacon. Here, that's just concrete. And there, that's just concrete. What are we talking about? Just outside the window on the right-hand side. I just see the crafting building. Not outer corner. There's a little scoop hanging out. Oh my god, what are... You see the arm move. Oh my god, oh. That? I think that's just part of the building. Or maybe it's not. Oh, do you think that's the engineer's arm? Oh, new armor. You're so right. That does look like the idle animation for a player. Oh, crazy. Okay, wow. Whoever found that has a very good eye. I would never have seen that. Not in a million, billion, trillion, quadrillion years. Wow. Nice. Okay, so now we are going to switch gears. I'm gonna take a little break. Is this right? Yeah. Why do I look so red in this one? Goodness. Brightness up. Contrast. Salsa, always looking for that Melvor time. No. Now I look yellow. Okay. Got a hue shift just right. I am not a fan. I need a new webcam, especially if this podcast takes off, because it is really hard to get this thing set properly, and it doesn't play nice with OBS, so it's constantly switching settings from one to the other, and I have to like go back in and change it. It's really, 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 really annoying. So I still feel like this is... Whoop, too bright. Goodness. Really hard, and I don't even always know, like, do I change the gamma? Do I change the brightness? Do I change the contrast? It's so hard to get this all right. Okay, that's looking pretty good. It still feels a little red, so we'll change hue shift down to 3. That feels a bit more like what I actually look like. Okay, and then we're gonna fire up a different game. One that Dave knows what's coming. We're gonna do some Balatro. Because what's better than feeding the degenerate gambler inside yourself? But before that, I do need to take a little quick break, use the restroom, get some water. So you guys stretch your legs, and I will be back in a minute. All right, Dave, I've had enough of your sass. I've already admitted to my wrongdoings. It's one of those games that you have to play Oh, that's funny. There's a card locked right here that I never noticed before. Play every heart in your deck in a single round. Oh, that's not easy. But yeah, it's one of those games you have to... It has to click before... Oh, man, I don't have any chaps. Alright, well, I won't be able to focus. I'll be right back. But yeah, anyway, I feel like Balatro, like, I do like Sassy Dave, it's true. It started out, and I don't know if it was the night that I was playing it or whatever, but it just didn't quite click. Like, I was like, it's kind of fun, but it's like, I don't really know if I'm gonna get my money's worth out of it. And then I watched some more Day 9 playing it, and I was like, yeah, that still looks kind of fun. So then I played it some more and I was like, oh, okay, I get it now. So for those of you that don't know, this is, I don't even know how you describe this game. Roguelite poker nonsense with big numbers. I was on ante 9, I don't remember this. I already won, so we'll just start a new run. But yeah, basically, I mean, it's easier to play it than explain it. So yeah, I'm currently working on just beating the deck with, or beating the base difficulty with all the decks and unlocking all the decks. So I've beat him with everything this up to Nebula. So I will play the Nebula deck, which starts the run with the Telescope Voucher, which is awesome. I actually really like that one. Gives you the planet for your most played hand. -1 consumable slot. Honestly, maybe I'm bad at using consumables, but that's not a big deal for me. Now, is my video in a good spot? I might be better in the bottom left. Right now, I am covering up the card number. Maybe I'll just do that. I can't remember if anything else important shows up over there. Yeah, it does nerf a couple strategies that I would potentially use sometimes. Okay, this is one that's probably worth it. So foil tag on the next Joker means that I can get some good chips on whatever Joker we see. 10-9, Jack, Queen, King. Well, that's pretty great. Let's see if we can get a 9 or an ace. So basically this game is all about playing poker hands. You get chips and a multiplier for each poker hand. And you have to get this many chips to not lose. 10, Jack, Queen, King, Ace. So a straight has like a base 4 times multiplier and 30 chips. And all of the cards that count as part of that poker hand add their chips to the chip total, but they don't add any multipliers unless you have special cards. And you can see here all the different like basic hands and multipliers and stuff. So it's pretty cool. You get all sorts of bonuses, which you'll see us get. Yeah, having an optimal position is a weird thing game makers need to think about. That's really true. I thought that was going to win it for me. I'm actually surprised it didn't. Okay, so let's do... And you get more money for how many hands you have left over at the end. So ideally, I want to win with just this last hand, which I think a flush will do it. There we go. And because we skipped that first blind, which is just like, you know, round, we got that bonus, which is now applied to this guy, which is kind of bonkers. So we can now get rid of cards we don't like by discarding them at the beginning of a round. And plus 50 chips means that every single hand, he'll just add 50 chips to the total. So I'm definitely going to buy that. I can't buy anything else, and we'll move on with our lives. Must play 5 cards. That's fine. I'll just ditch low cards for now. And it also gets me $3 every time I do that. And it makes my deck better. So, and yeah, like you're saying, Dave, I can build around it now. Let's do... I honestly don't know. I have plus 50 chips, so it's honestly not gonna matter that much. Let's just do 2 pair. Probably should have ditched the 7. Wait, oh, I'm not paying attention. Not paying attention. Gotta play 5 cards. LOL. But yeah, you can see that added 50 more chips. Full house, I think will get me there. 50 extra chips. Yeah. Okay, so now we need something that gives us a higher multiplier. Otherwise, we're probably screwed pretty early. And none of these give me multipliers. Oh, that's interesting. Never seen that. Planet cards in your consumable area give 1.5x mult for their specified Pokemon. Well, I can only have one over here anyway, but that would be pretty good if I had a direction I was going. What's the best way to play this? A reroll is pretty expensive, but I need a multiplier increase. So I could reroll, or I could just go for 2 pair. Just go for 2 pair. And we'll just try to 2 pair our way to victory. Double my money, not worth it. Of course, now I get a straight. 10, Jack, Queen, King. Fine. I accept. Oh, wait, nope. That's wiggling up there to tell me it's active and I can get my free discard. And then it removes it from the deck. Alright, good, good, good. Can I do a 2 pair? No, 5, 6, 7, 8. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I guess we're just doing straights. Goodness. Pretty lucky, honestly. Or unlucky. Depends on how you want to look at it. Alright. So, now what? We could go diamonds. Actually, that works out nicely. So maybe we lean towards flushes and we start ditching our non-diamonds. Is what this is leading us towards. This would be nice. I don't know if I can afford it. Holographic jokers are just so good. Play only one hand type. That's also really hard, actually. Because that basically means... Yeah. Yeah, and I miss out on ditching a card and making money, so... Pretty rough. Okay, so now we're going for diamond. So I ditch non-diamond. That is a diamond. Wow, my brain said hearts, even though my mouth and eyes saw diamond. Okay, yeah, ditch the heart, discard. And then we turn the highest into diamonds. And then we can flush down the toilet. That should win, because now this adds 4 times multiplier onto every diamond. So there you go, 3,000. Easy. Easy. $9. What do we got? Face card discarding. A flush level up. Probably should do that. Now, right now, unfortunately, I've played straights the most, so the telescope that I have is guaranteeing that a Celestial Pack contains a straight upgrade. Yeah, this is kind of a sad voucher. It's probably still worth it, though. Honestly. I think I'm still gonna go for it. Maybe I should have waited till next round. Let my interest do some work. Oh, I couldn't have got... Well, can you... I forget. Does it reset after, right when you beat the boss, or not until the next one? I can never remember. Discard a non-diamond, like you. Okay. Weirdly, I'm like on track for a flush with hearts. We'll just do discarding those. Keep a diamond. Hope for a full house. Flush on hearts. I'll take it. And now we get a flush. Beautiful. Okay, that was actually one that we could have lost, but I think we'll be okay now. When the ante goes up, that's on the round summary screen. Yeah, so I had to buy it when I did, because this switches as soon as you beat the boss. Might be worth it. And now flush is our most played, so we guarantee a flush upgrade with this guy. +2 hand size, it just makes you so much more likely to get a flush. This is worse than it looks though, because -1 hands per round means -$1 per round. This actually loses you money, because all of your leftover hands count as $1 each. So this one upgrades your face cards to gold cards. It's not bad. I mean, let's start with this. And we'll get our Jupiter. Probably just needed a good Joker. I don't love this one. This one gets you more chips every time you discard a certain suit, but the suit changes around. I could just get a spade, and then we're going for spades or diamonds, which helps. These are not great choices. Skipping booster packs feels kind of bad. I have used this before to good effect, but I don't think this is the run for it. I'm not rich enough. And this one's weird. It gets you a quadruple every 6 hands. So you have to play it carefully. It can be pretty strong, because obviously quadruple is insane. So I guess we just take spades to give me some more flexibility for now. I lose a lot of interest money if I buy this. This one, I think I need to get rich if I'm going to win this, so I'm going to buy that. Rerolls the boss blind. First hand's drawn face down. Whatever. Fine. Okay, discard of the lowest non-diamond. Ideally non-spade as well, because I guess at this point they're equal. What do I have more of? Full deck, I have 9 spades. Oh, I've gotten rid of a lot of my spades. Crap. 16 diamonds. Okay. Discard you. And then we're close to a flush. We do want to play more face cards if we can, because they become gold cards. Let's discard these. I don't get any bonuses for holding on to discards. And in fact, there are some bonuses for using up your discards. So unless you have jokers that give you bonuses for holding on to discards, you should always use them up. Okay, that was good. Alright, Jupiter again. So now I can hold it, which is good. Shoot. I want that too. This is where only having one consumable slot sucks. Because we really want the diamonds. The star is exactly what we want. I'm an idiot. And I could have bought that first and then used it. Or can't... No, I couldn't use this yet. It's weird. Arcanas you can buy and use immediately from here, but not from here, if they need cards to see, which this one does. This is... Puts me down in interest level, but I think it's worth it. Let's find out. Yeah, this is good. I can do a wild, or I can get rid of 2. Probably a wild. Is that good? Yeah, that is true, Dave. I really could have played that better. Okay, what do we have? Spade and diamond, so we'll get rid of a club and a heart. Alright. This is not going amazing so far. Honestly, let's just ditch it all. Ooh, it's a gold card. Needs to be held in hand at end of round, though. Wait, no. It's risky. I've got 11 out of 31 cards are diamonds, but if I end up without a diamond, then we're screwed, so I shouldn't do that. Let's actually discard the ones we want to discard. Ah, we got one. Okay, so there we go. Flush it down the toilet. There we go, that 1.5 molt coming in clutch. Alright, doubles money. That is the easiest buy and use you ever see. Honestly don't want that. I could add a playing card. I'm gonna do a reroll. Well, that sucks. Literally both of those jokers are like utter trash. This one might be worth it, because sometimes the flushes have a pair. In fact, often the flushes have a pair, so it's probably fine. Yeah, I think we're gonna do a jumbo pack, because 25 is my interest. As long as I have 25, I'll get the full interest anyway. Of course, I get no diamonds. I guess wilds are diamonds. I go down an extra interest dollar by doing this, but I'll go for it. Ooh, yeah, there we go. Polychrome gives you a higher multiplier. Now, it is important to note that that multiplier, the 1.5x, it's not adding 1.5. It's multiplying your multiplier, which is a huge deal. However, because it's on a card, it often adds the multiplier before you get the multipliers from your jokers, so it's not quite as good as it sounds, but that's why leveling up the flush can be important, is because then it adds a higher multiplier to start with. Yeah, I'm planning on getting rid of the spades joker because we're lower on spades. We only have 9, whereas we have 17 diamonds, so we're definitely on diamonds. The spades joker is just chilling for now in case I need it. Oh yeah, that's how this works. I'm gonna discard none of them because I'm scared. Ha! I almost got a flush. That's hilarious. Alright. Now we discard like this. And there we go. I guess we should use our discards. Discard these. Because that's a diamond. Okay. There we go. 3 more bucks for that. Our Midas mask is really starting to pay off. And that gets us back above the interest threshold. So we'll get the full $5 for interest. Nice. Alright, X2 if it contains a pair. Got the blank voucher. Let's... What are we gonna do? So that pack will have a Jupiter, but it's $8. I don't know if that's worth it. In fact, it's weird, but I would rather have a small celestial pack because I have the telescope and I only care about one hand type. I do think we're gonna sell the Wrathful for the popcorn because it's just better right now. And I need the blank voucher because you need to collect 10 of them to unlock a thing, which we're about to find out what it is. So sell that. Get some popcorn for now. It's not the best, but it'll be fine. The order of these does not matter. I can buy that now because I have 25 still. Okay, we unlocked something. And do I do the Arcana? I think I do. This is the best way to get card types changed into diamonds, which is what we want. Or just to get free money in this case. I think... Why can't I use it? Oh, because it creates the card. Oh, that's so annoying. It's actually surprising how much this one consumable slot is bothersome. So I'll probably just make a random king into a wild card then. Yeah. What's annoying though is that's gonna change it into a gold card, which will unwild it. Which is kind of weird. I don't think that's worth it. I'm basically gonna get $15 for playing this hand anyway. Okay, ditch the 7. Should be all we need. And 10 grand. Okay. I would have liked to be a little further ahead, but we're doing okay, I think. $11. This one's so interesting. I haven't quite gotten in the right spot for it. But every single blind, it gets a bigger multiplier. A multiplier, but then it destroys a random joker. The other thing I'm not sure, can it destroy itself? Not totally clear if it can or not, which I also find interesting. Alright, let's see, what do we got? Lucky, gold card, hearts. Don't like any of those. I guess just lucky's just not lucky enough. Like it often does nothing, right? It has a 20% chance for a plus 20 mult and like a 6% chance to win $20. So often it's not doing anything. Lucky cards are only good if you can trigger cards multiple times, I think. So I think we'll just goldify the 4. Call it a day. And then I could switch out the Sly Joker for a Juggler. I think that's going to be a lot better for me. And then we'll get the Jumbo Pack. The Joker that increases probabilities. But it's only by 1. So it would only be 1 out of 4, right? Or does it go to 2 out of 5? Either way, that's still not huge. 2 out of 5 is decent. And 2 out of 15 is still really low. So I actually don't feel like that's gonna do that much. These are all bad. I mean, the Hermit's always good, but... Just talked about not caring about lucky cards. Random Joker card. It's probably on balance worse than what I have. I guess Popcorn's gonna run out of usefulness pretty soon. Could switch out Popcorn for a random. Or just get money. I'll just get money. Alright. I'm gonna go for it. Ooh, a negative Joker. Ooh, negative Jokers are so good. We're going for it. Look, if you're not gonna be greedy, why are you playing this game? Let's be honest. That's why we're all here. I know those are face cards. Don't know what face cards they are. I can just do a straight without face, or a flush without face cards. Oh, hey, Stitches, how's it going? Not to worry, you can watch the VOD. Ah, close. Polychrome diamonds. Okay, this is getting rough, because I don't know which of these are diamonds. Wait, yeah, I do. Okay, none of them are diamonds. I always forget that sorting can give you information about the hidden cards. I can ditch all of these. Shoot. I'm screwed. I guess I still have 3 hands. Okay, no, what am I even doing? I screwed that up. I should have played a crappy hand of non-diamonds. Why did I do that? Okay, so now I need 3 more diamonds. That's not gonna happen. But 1 more heart is doable. So let's play all these and hope to get a heart on the redraw. I guess we're fine. I have enough multipliers. We're just chilling. All right. Well, that was a little rough. But now we get a negative Joker. That's not that good, but we'll take it. So negative Jokers don't count towards the total slots. Or more accurately, it gives you a slot while it uses one. Oh, and here's our new voucher. Oh my gosh. +1 Joker slot. Heck yes. Ace, 2, 3, 5, or 8. That's pretty random. Definitely get our flush upgraded. We've needed more of these. I'm surprised at how few we've gotten. +2 to the mult. Get some extra chips for when we get a flush. And we'll take a diamond. Do a reroll. Each king held in hand. A 1.5 multiplier. Seems pretty good. I do only have the 4 kings still. But maybe I can get more. Well, we need to ditch the popcorn anyway, so let's... Because popcorn just gets worse every hand. Free Mega Standard Pack. Not worth it. 2 of spades. Ditch that. Oh, King held in hand is good. We like that. Discard. Discard. Oh yeah, this is gonna make me $9. Am I forgetting something? Holding a king in hand, so we should be fine. So you see, this one will add the multiplier right now, and then those add more, and then that added multipliers, so. My cards suck. Yeah, they kind of do. You're right. Retrigger all cards played for the next 10 hands. I mean, that would be really good if we were closer to the end. Because then we're re-triggering all of the, this one. The +4 molt from diamonds. It would double trigger. So that would be good if we got it later. But it's going to run out before we get to the end, I think. So... just tarot card it up. Destroy, money, bonus cards, or spades. Probably just destroy, right? Yeah. Wild lucky gold card. We will wild card on another 10. Got a lot of diamonds. $21 effective diamonds. Half of my deck is diamonds. That's pretty nice. Create up to 2. Nope, don't need that. Discard the 5. Boom. Boom. Actually, because that contains a pair, so that'll work for that. We'll get the mold. I don't care too much about the chips value of each card because we've already got 80 base for the flush plus another 50. So I'm already at 130. So the actual chips that the cards are worth are not a huge deal. I guess I can do that instead. So I should discard then this and this to try to get more golds. Because that leaves me with 5. And I want to be holding kings in hand. Yeah. And I do this. And we get the pair for the extra molt. Boom. Yeah, you know, maybe I shouldn't be confident that we're getting there with one hand. We barely got there. Ooh, spectral packs. 4 of a kind, odd rank. I don't want either one of those. Let's see what we get here. Add a purple seal. Oh yeah, there we go. Aura is nice. Purple seal's not very good because we don't have room, so that's just trash. But we will... to our 10 of diamonds. I think that's better than a queen. Yeah. Boom. So now that's worth 50 chips. is pretty great. And there we go. So this is good. It adds negative to a random joker. It does make your hand size smaller, but we already have +1 hand size. Oh, that's not the one we wanted. Whatever, fine. Don't need tarot cards. Normally I would want you. I don't. There it is. There's a flush bonus. Okay. Alright. Cards played previously this anti are debuffed. I never remember to look at the boss effect until I'm about to do it, which is really stupid of me. Okay, debuffed means it doesn't score chips and it doesn't trigger anything, which is pretty bad. So I'm actually gonna go for the full. I'm gonna not worry about the money from that queen. I am confident we'll get there in one now, because I've gotten another 10 molt and 50 chips. What we would like, though... So that won't give me the polychrome bonus. Okay, so what we need to do is find some kings. So I think... Oh, this is my last discard already. I need more discards. We can get rid of one of these. We're left with a flush no matter what. Ideally, we find some kings. Discard. There's a king. Yeah. Oh, you're right. I got rid of a pair, so I lose that 8 molt. Shoot. Forgot about that. I honestly keep forgetting about that. Think we'll be okay? Nope. We screwed! Yeah, this has not been an amazing run, let's be honest. Okay, so now I need spade flush. No, I only have 3 more spades in the deck. Out of 20. So that's actually very unlikely. And I already have 3 diamonds. Out of... I have 9 left. So let me play all the non-diamonds. Okay, there we go. And now we have a pair. Okay. I think we're gonna be okay now. Oof. This is not an amazing run. I don't think we're gonna be able to win unless we get some good synergy. No. No. Yes. Wasn't the 9 debuffed, Dave? Buy the card first? I don't actually know what order I should do those to. Of course, you're all clubs. Why wouldn't you be? Okay, steel cards are nice. Usually make the lower cards the steel cards, but it probably doesn't matter too much. We don't need those. Another wild card would be great, but I can't sacrifice my 1.5, so... You know, I've gotten very few planet packs. For having the telescope, I should have way more than level 4 flush. That's part of the problem. 15 is not enough. So I'm probably going to lose due to not having enough flush levels. If we could get another 2 or 3 levels of flush, I think we'd be in a much better spot. I also may need to stop worrying about that. If I find a better Joker, I might need to replace it. It's so bad to discard these gold cards, but I only have 3 diamonds. I have a lot more gold cards. There we go. I don't even know if I'm going to get there in one, though, because I don't have a pair. Let's leave a discard, then, and just play a flush. You would have made the off-color card steal, but the goal is to get rid of the off-color cards. So I like to stealify cards that fit my strategy. But the worst ones of the cards that fit my strategy. Maybe that is bad. I don't know. Okay, now we ditch. That's wild. That's a king, which is worth a lot. I have to... I guess it's worth losing $1 to basically discard these, right? Is that all I lose by playing another hand? I think so, right? Yeah. Yeah, so I might as well play these. It's worth $1. There we go. Ooh, there we go. There's a pair, and now we've got foil, and then we're gonna have 2 golds no matter how we do this. Or 2 golds being a part of the hand, because we need those to be in the hand for that. So this is gonna be a great hand. I don't even know what's happening, but that was a big number. Still not big enough for being like the perfect hand. So I still don't think we're gonna win this one. Oh, but erosion is going to help. Oh baby, plus 52. This is the one we wanted from the beginning. So this guy gives you +4 molt for every card that you're underneath 52. So me having removed cards every round has paid off. It is paid off, which ironically makes these worse, but I'm at least going to see if we can get a really good card for our deck, like this. Another king of diamonds, that's amazing. Probably worth looking again. Yeah, like I think that's worth adding to the deck. Check one more, nothing. Okay. Definitely need to do this blind. Playing a flush sets money to 0. Well, I'm glad I read that this turn. That is horrible. Oh, I feel like there's always the boss that just goes right for the heart. Oh, it's the worst. Okay, we'll make our $3. Right? Yeah, and this goes back up to 48. Now, I can play the steal, but that's kind of bad. I can ditch those. Ditch these. I know it's a king, but a king is basically a steal right now because of that. I'm only ditching one card. Let's just play what we've got. We've still got the king. And then we'll discard after this, because I don't think we're going to win in one. We might, though, after the new... Yeah, we did. New erosion card coming in clutch. Boom. Okay, now we need to spend all our money. Thankfully, a celestial pack. Level up flush. And then... I mean, we might as well look at it. No. I love this card when you have more steel cards, but it's just not good enough, I don't think. Yeah, I don't think it's better than any of these. It could be better than the Drawl Joker. Because if I put it at the end, an extra 25%, my multiplier is always going to be higher than 40. But the 50 chips is the other question. I've already got 50. Flush is at 95 base. So that's like 150. Plus, and when does this multiplier apply? I haven't been paying attention. Is it before or after? Shoot, I don't know if this is before or after Jokers. But an extra 25%. What did I say? So I start at 12. They're all going to be diamonds. So then I go up another 20. So I get to 32. And I'm assuming no steel or kings. Because then I have even more. Then I go to 40 if there's a pair, which is, let's assume there's not. And so I'm up to like almost 100 molt. So that's going to add like 25 molt. And then I can get more steel cards, whereas this can never get better. I think it's actually going to be better. Okay. Definitely higher upside too. None of these do anything. I mean, no, yeah, I'm not going to have to reroll 4 at the end of the round. 50% chance to give a buck. No. Oh, I could disable the current the boss blind, but then I lose a joker. Wait, what? Oh, I never utilized my extra joker slot. Well, I weirdly got lucky because now we disabled the boss blind. Might as well buy that. Free reroll, 10 or 4, and no discard. Carry on. Wait, it said sell this card to disable the boss blind, and I did. And it's not working? I mean, I've never used that joker before, but I thought I just used it correctly, and apparently I didn't. I'm a bit confused now. I assumed it would disable this effect. Maybe it still does, and it just isn't showing it visually in any way. Hold on, we gotta ditch. You would not be a diamond. I think it's worth trying, because I already have, well, that's the steel, but I like to keep the king. There we go. These 5. Yeah, maybe that's the case, Alor. We'll see. If this sets my money to 0, we'll know that I didn't do it right. Yep, I didn't do it right. Okay. Yeah, I probably had to do it during the round, but it should say that. That's actually kind of frustrating, because it just said sell this card. It said nothing about when it needed to be sold. Alright, planet cards. Thank God. Give me those. And now we're out of money. Nope. I mean... interesting. Mega Arcana gives me another chance at stealing a card. Steal, as in like that kind of steal. It's probably the best. Probably better than playing around. No steal. No star, of course. Well, yeah, I mean, current boss, as in the boss of the current ante, is what I presumed. Random Joker could be better than... I mean, I literally have the most basic Joker in the game right now. Or I could multiply. That's not even that good. +4 mult is not... Well, but it's before all the other multipliers. And it's before... The reason this can be good is because it applies before steel cards and kings are going to apply. Those apply... Well... Oh, I need to be putting kings at the end. So many things to think about. I think Random Joker could be so much better. Some extra chips. Oh, I get 2 cards. I'm a dummy. I don't care about gold cards anymore, really. So they can be de-golded. De-gilded, I guess you would say. Alright, there's a king. We want to hold on to that. We want to ditch the 6. Yes. I have 3 diamonds. Ditch all those. There we go. Flush with 2 kings in hand. Extra chips. This should do it. Yeah, they'll be re-golded. Unfortunately, I'd have to sell that Joker to prevent it. Boom. 75 grand? That works. I still don't think we're gonna win, though. But we're gonna get close. I've just needed more of these. Another, like, 3 or 4 Celestial Packs, and I think we'd be fine. +15. 0 discards. We do often have 0 discards. Is that better than 76 chips? Probably not. I think we actually have enough mult. I think the chips are better. Better to have 1 more diamond? Probably. Because it does reduce that by 4. These are the questions. These are the questions. Oh, the arm is rough. Decreased level of played poker hand. Okay, you're kings. Of course, you're sucky. Give me good stuff. Yes. Okay. I think this is what we want. We got the 2 kings for that. Now, arrangement-wise, does it matter? I don't think so. That downgrades my flush level. Yeah, it is after the jokers. Okay. Okay. Is that worth it to buy at this point? It'll save me... is it $2 or $1 on that Celestial Pack? And then it'll decrease my interest. No, that's not gonna pay it for itself. Okay. You just gotta hope for the best here. You just gotta hope for the best. What do we got? Oh, okay, we're at the end of the round. It doesn't tell us till next round. Let's try. We could always get like a king. A wild king. Ha ha ha, yes, that is amazing. That is amazing. Oh, of course it's Violet. Oh, 300 grand. We're not gonna do it. one can hope. Alright, ditch the 2 of clubs. Ditch the offsuits, but not the king. Play the flush with a polychrome on the right. Should work with the king in hand. This should do it actually for this hand. $63. There's no way I'm making 300 grand. Unless I get just a bunch of kings. Another celestial pack will help. Let's just start with that. What do we got? Okay. Doubles money, bonus cards. I mean, bonus cards are pretty decent. Or I could get more money. But I think just bonusing... I mean, something. Do I reroll again? Get one more round of purchasing before the boss? Nah. You would have gambled. Well, so I just added 60 chips to my cards though, which is better than a foil tag anyway. So the only one that really would have been better would have been polychrome, and there's only a 1 in 4 chance it works in the first place, and only a 1 in 3 chance that I would have gotten the polychrome. Because I think the plus 60 chips I added to my deck is better than a foil or a what's it called when it gets the plus 10 molt? I don't remember. It's not polychrome, but it's something. It's not foil. It's not negative. I forget what it's called. I keep forgetting I have this in here. I have a joker I can switch out. Okay, so ditch the 8 of hearts. What do I have? I already have flush. Holographic, that's the other, the plus 10. Yeah, I mean, I'll go for it. As far as playing to my outs, Alor, I think I have a better chance with the plus 60 chips on the 9s that I did. Not 1,000,000% sure. I'd have to do a lot of math to actually check that. 1, 2, 3, 4. I only have 4 diamonds. Okay, there we go. And I get a pair, and we've got a king. So we're fine on this hand. Even got some extra mult here. Is on the end. Gold cards will give me some money. Okay. Safe on this. This is... Don't play the jack. Oh. Well, what I should have done is just sell... Crap. Yeah, I should have just sold this right now. Because then I wouldn't have done that. I completely forgot about that. Alright. Last chance saloon. What do we got? 4 of a kind and straight. Doubt I'm gonna get either of those mattering. So tarot cards it is. Alright, strength, hanged man, priestess. Increase the rank. Of course, it didn't give me any queens to turn into kings, so we are just ditching some spades. I've never had this few cards before. I have 35 cards. I'm up to 68 on erosion. This is insane. Ugh, steel would have been really nice too, but it didn't give me that. Alright, well. Just ditch the jack of spades, I guess. Erosion. Yes. Not eruption. What are you? 50 chips. That is worse than the blue Joker. Well, is it? Because once I draw the initial hand, that's already 7 cards, which is 14 less chips, plus a few discards. So actually, that is a couple more chips than my blue Joker. Because blue Joker's actively bad with less cards, so... Go ahead and replace that. I can also get rid of that if I find something better. 3 of a kind. Straight. Aces. Nope. Well. Last chance. Nope. Alright. If we get lucky, we might be able to do it. I just need a lot of kings. 2 kings is a good start. So, initial would be discarding these 2. I think. Fudge. I drew another king, but I didn't draw more. You know what I'm gonna do? Rather than discard this, play it. Is that dumb? It's the same thing though, roughly. No, I should just discard it. I can use plays as discards later. So I've got 3 king multipliers. Then I don't have enough. So I'm gonna have to use a king. So really I just need 1 diamond. What's my chance here? 20 out of 25? Yeah, that's a good chance. I'll take that. There we go. And then I want the re-trigger king. I guess it doesn't matter where it goes because the re-triggering isn't for this, is it? Or is it? I don't know. We'll put it at the end just in case. Because it's gonna do this one twice when scored, but I think this one doesn't apply until retrigger in hand. What? What are you saying? Will it retrigger Baron? I was under the assumption it wouldn't, because this isn't triggering the king. You're saying it does. It was the whole time. Okay. I'm gonna slow it down because I want to see what happens. So you're saying when the Baron triggers its thing, that one's gonna count twice. And the order of these does not matter. Okay. Forgot to sell the stupid Midas. I wasn't paying attention. Did it just double trigger? I was so distracted by not having sold the Midas. Why am I dealt 2 of my non... Well, I know Red Seal re-triggers when you, like, do other things. I didn't know it would re-trigger that. Because that one... It's hard to explain in few words, but... What do I even have? I have nothing. Oh, gosh. I only have 6 cards left in the deck that are not diamonds. Should I discard this? I have 2 cards left in the deck that are not diamonds. So if I play this, there is a 14 out of 16 chance that we then can play a flush, including a holographic and a bonus card, and still have 3 kings left behind. I'm gonna sell this stupid piece of crap before I forget, so it won't turn that into a gold card. Not that it matters anymore, but yeah, we're just gonna do that, I think. There you go. Now I saw the, again, double trigger. It's a pretty incredible score for a single high card that doesn't even fit my strategy. Okay, good. We got what we needed. Settings. Oof, I'm more stressed than I normally am. I think it's because we're on stream. All right, so we want these, and I think we might get there. This is gonna score pretty well with a bonus, a holographic, and a foil. Oh yeah, baby. I think we did it. And we got one of our spades, but not 2 of them, so we can play this flush. That'll win. We've still got the king in hand. This was very close. Usually when I win, it's by more of a margin than this. But we barely got there. Woo! Nice. We're not doing endless mode. Poggers. Alright, so that's what redeeming blank gets you. Very much worth it. Play every heart in your deck in a single round. Oh, we did it. 13 molt for each queen held in hand. Oh, that's interesting. That's like the king one we were just looking at, but it's a plus instead of a multiplier. Cool, cool, cool. Oh, this just shows a random card in the middle, I guess. And it kind of cycles. Okay. Cool. Well, I think I'm going to call it a stream there. I just wanted to play some Balatro. It's too fun. Do I have the no face card deck? I mean, I haven't done any of the higher stake. Yeah, abandoned. So now we have all the decks that you can get without playing the harder difficulties. These last 5 you only unlock by playing harder, which is, and you can only play harder with decks that you've already beat. And the first stake is that the small blind gives no reward money, which is pretty minor. That's like $3 per ante that you're losing out on. So it kind of sucks, but in a money strategy, you'll be fine without that $3. It's not a huge deal. So I'm guessing it won't be a massive difference to win the red stake on most of these decks. It's pretty minor. I don't know what the next stake is, but I'm sure that it's worse. Start with a hex card. Oh, that's fun. Basically get to start with a polychrome joker. Alright, well, I'm going to be done, despite the fact that I could play this game till the cows come home. And I will see you all... Yeah, all the stakes add up with each other. I will see you all next time. Thanks for watching, everybody. See you later, Dave. See ya, Aylor. See ya, Stitches.